Alright guys, how's it going today? So we're doing another little car vloggy video for you. They were talking another little bit of snow tonight. Of course, I never knew when it was going to come. They were saying 3 o'clock. Well, it's 4 o'clock now. So here's a little blowy on the highways, but that's, I guess, not too bad. But it's minus 40 out. It's freaking cold. And we've had a hell of a day. So yeah. Give you guys a little update on the Dollar General. I know I posted that video a couple days ago about that place. Went in there again today because Mother wanted to try to find some bullshit. I didn't really want to go in there, but she kind of made me a little bit. So, but yeah, I don't know. This time we went in there, they had, I think, 4 people working in there, which is kind of a first. There's 2 people that are in there now that they're even newer than that guy. So, and then that other girl too. There's a girl that was working there. She was working there for quite a while, kind of by herself a little bit. She did get help every once in a while, but today they got up to 4 people there today, and whatever else. So the aisles weren't as packed. They're still packed, but I don't know. But I don't know. I know that we're not the only person that's been bitching and complaining about this place, so but you can go on the Googles there, and you can Google this, you know, like your local stores or whatever, and of course, you know, ours is on there, and of course there's every other Dollar General known to mankind. So you can leave reviews on the Google for whatever you want to leave a review on. And there were a few people that were saying nice stuff. I mean, very little, but most of it was, you know, more towards the negative side. I know there was an old comment on there, I know that I read a while back, that they were saying that people were grumpy in there and they acted like they hated life. Well, those people that acted like that, I don't see them anymore. They're not there anymore. So I don't know if they got fired or if they quit or what, but there was one person that was working in there. She acted like she hated life. And then, I don't know, she disappeared for a while, then she come back, and then all of a sudden she had kind of like a little bit of a different attitude. She still kind of acted like she hated life, but yet she was being a little bit nicer. But the girl that's in there now, she's been in there for a while. She's like the nicest one there out of all of them. And then you got that guy that was talking about, you know, not to touch the carts, but, you know, whatever. And then there's a couple of new girls working in there too. So I guess they're new as well, because they weren't in there the last time that we were in there. We were just in there a few days ago or something. So yeah, but it is what it is. So I don't know if they got more help just to hurry up and get the crates out of the way, or if they're going to be in there, you know, for however long they plan on surviving the place. So I don't really know what the story is, but is this person going to come and get their car or what? Because I kind of need to move it, or they need to move it. The light's turned on, but there's nobody in it, so auto start, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes there's people there and sometimes there's not, I guess. But even if there's one person there, it still doesn't justify, you know, having those carts all over the place. There's still some there. I know that soap aisle, like where the shampoos and the bars of soap and stuff they're at, that was all still full. So, and then when you go down the back alley there, the back aisle, that one had stuff on it too. So, but all the other aisles were pretty much bare. I mean, there was one that had a couple of crates in them, but wasn't as bad. But I'm not going to give the place any, thumbs up or anything, because it's just piss poor. So what it probably pretty much is, and I think that's what Roosty Six was saying too, is that it's just poor business. And that's what everybody's been saying. That's what Mother says. That's what I say. That's what Roosty Six says. That's what my grandma says. That's what everybody's been saying. It's poor management or whatever. But I'm not really sure who the manager is on that place. I thought it was that girl that was there the longest, but she kind of acts like the boss. But I don't know. And she's always there. So I always just kind of figured maybe she was the boss, the manager of the place. But the manager could be doing a no-show too. He probably just collects his paycheck and doesn't even show up to, go to work. So, well, whatever. That's not my fucking problem. So I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah. It's still, it's better than, obviously, than what it was before. Not by much, but I'm still not gonna, give them a thumbs up or anything, because I know that's all gonna change. They seem to, they just seem to get too much crap in there, and then they don't know what to do with it all, So, and they had one aisle that was empty, but I think that's because they're going to put the Valentine's crap out now, so that's why that's empty, and that's understandable, because they're switching over now to put something else there now. So I don't remember what was there before. I imagine just a bunch of chocolate and candy and shit. I don't really remember, but it's not there now, whatever was there. So, well, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So doesn't seem to take them too long, I guess, to stock it, but a lot of times the shelves are empty too. So we managed to get one bag of kitty litter, we need one more, I think. Well, I know that we're gonna get some for Grandma too, because she's getting low as well. But she never stocks up on enough of that, not like we do. We get as many as we possibly can, because we know that we have a few cats, and we got to keep the kitty litter pans clean. So yeah, so we keep well stocked up on kitty litter and cat food and stuff like that. So yeah. So the other thing, we would have been here sooner. Now it's like 4:10 in the afternoon. We would have been here way earlier. We were planning on leaving at like 11:30 in the morning. We always usually leave in the mornings, because it takes us a day to even get here. Takes us a day to even get done. My car lights come on. That's stupid. Alright, I'm not sure. I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyways, yeah, we were gonna try to, well, my uncle's been trying to put a bale out too, because the cows are out of feed. I think we could have used the 1586, because I know my uncle's footing had started being minus 40, but I had mine running yesterday, and I ran it for an hour and a half or so, and she came to life. So no excuse to why I couldn't have ran today, but we kind of just ended up using the Blazer to put a bale out. I know that's gonna sound kind of crazy, but we know the 400 wasn't going to start. That once it gets below like minus 25, minus 30 Fahrenheit, nothing's going to start, or that's not going to start, at least anyway. The 400, well, that has to be plugged in for at least, depending on temperature. Once you get below minus 20 and 30 and below that, you got to be plugged in for at least 4 hours. So and we just wanted to get it done and over with. And the only thing that would start is the Blazer. So we put a bail out with the Blazer. And I know that Reese 6 was saying something about the Blazer, that it could probably pull more than what that 400 could ever pull. Well, yeah and no. The Blazer's rated to pull, I think, like 7,900 pounds. Like if you're pulling a trailer. And then I don't know what the 400 would be rated for, but I mean, it really all kind of depends on, you know, traction and weight and, you know, stuff like that. So, and another thing too is that my Blazer has 4-wheel drive, whereas the pickup don't, because there's a switch that's out, and it makes it very difficult to shift the 4-wheel drive on and off on that pickup. So he's been doing it in just 2-wheel drive, and he's been getting by with doing it. He just gets a running start at it. So, but what's nice about the Blazer is I have 4-wheel drive, but I have 4-wheel drive high, and then I have a 4-wheel drive low. And I think low is more for torque than speed. So I put it in the 4 low because to move that bale, I wanted more torque than I wanted speed, because I just figured it would be a little easier on the Blazer, because, you know, the Blazer was still, the engine was warm, but the transmission was still a little cold, because I got a temperature gauge on that, so I can keep an eye on it. And it was a little cool, so I didn't want to push it too hard. So I just put it in the 4 low, and, you know, just gave it a little bit of throttle, you know, until we got the chain tight, and then I gave it a little bit of throttle, and the Blazer just started pulling the bale. The Blazer did not even realize that we were pulling that bale behind it. It's actually kind of amazing what this Blazer is capable of doing. So we do have a secondary machine to feed hay if we had to. It's not the ideal thing to do. Mother don't like it because she thinks I'm going to tear up the Blazer, but it's a Chevy, it can take it. I mean, I didn't really want to do it with the Blazer unless we absolutely freaking had to. So, but I was blown away by how the Blazer handled it. You know, I was willing to use the tractor, the 1586, but my uncle didn't want to wait for hours. He was just like, I just want to get this done, you know. And the cows were sitting there bitching and complaining because they didn't have any food, and I guess whatever. Because when I went there yesterday, they had half a ring. I was like, well, that could last them at least a couple more days. Come to find out, they had it all gone by morning, so I guess they must have spent all night eating it. So, but I mean, it's fine, whatever. So, but yeah, it was, that Blazer handled it like a boss. It didn't even realize it was back there. The only way that you would know that if it was back there, because I did it once and I didn't mean to, but I kind of yanked on the chain a little too hard because I gave it too much throttle, and then the Blazer's very snappy. It doesn't take much throttle at all to get that thing to really, I mean, once you get into it, it really takes off. I mean, there's kind of like a dead spot in the throttle, but once you get past that dead spot, it's almost like full throttle, but it's not full throttle. So it's kind of hard to explain, but when you give it a little bit of gas, that Blazer wants to go. It's not going to resist. If you're hooked to something, it's going to do its damnedest to get it out of there, you know, or to break the chain, whatever gives first. So it's yeah, very impressive. It was very impressive to see what that Blazer could do. I knew that it probably could do it, because I knew that the weight was there, and I had 4-wheel drive, but I still figured, even with 4-wheel drive, I still could maybe have some traction issues. But there were some bare spots in the ground where the Blazer, you know, like, it dug into it, and then it pulled itself out. So yeah, that's why I bought that hitch, that That hitch was used, you know, was meant to be used, you know, if we needed to pull something out, like this car when I got stuck that one time. And I got a story on this as well. But I mean, it's just, the Blazer can do it. I mean, it's not a farm truck, obviously, but you know, we used it as it was like one. Not saying that we're going to do that all the time, but you know, my uncle was trying to get the pickup going too, and he just says it just wasn't having it. So he says that would have to be plugged in for a while and whatever else. So, but I don't know, we did it with the Blazer, and there was no trouble. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Here comes the sheriff. So yeah, it pulled that. I mean, it had nothing to do with that. My uncle, when we did get that tractor running that one day, it was a few days ago, we got it running because he wanted to use it to clean out the barn. And that was before this deep freeze hit, so it was a little bit nicer out. He managed to break 4 bales out of the stack, because usually those bales are froze down, and well, you know how that can go. So so he figured he would take advantage of it and pull them out quick while the tractor was running, and we did that. And so we're good for a while. I mean, those bales last at least a week or so. So yeah, so that's just what we did, and that's what made it easy, I think, to move those bales, because they were already there, that one bale anyway, because it was already broke free. I don't know if we could have moved those bales or not if they were froze down, you know, in the stack. So, but whatever. They're good. They're fine now for at least maybe another week. Maybe not quite, but close. And they'll be all right. So, but yeah. So that was kind of an interesting thing, because obviously I've never done that before, and yeah. So we got to use the new hitch and stuff for the first time, and well, it never ripped out. It never ripped the rear end out. It never ripped the bumper off. Of course, it's not bolted to the bumper. It's bolted actually straight to the frame. So I don't really consider them a bumper pull, because they're not really pulling from the bumper. Not like on the old trucks where you truly did pull from the bumper. You know, now they have an actual hitch that bolts directly to the frame now, so a lot stronger. So, but whatever, it works. So, but we didn't bend the hitch. I looked at it after we were done and didn't bend it or nothing. It took it like a damn boss. So, but at least that's taken care of now. We don't have to worry about that. It's starting to snow now too. Great. So the other thing is, it's about this car. This car would not start. It wouldn't start. So my uncle thought it was maybe the battery. Maybe the battery was too cold. So he took it out, put it in the house, and then he put the pickup battery in here, because he's got that, and he had it in the house. But he says even that wasn't helping. It was turning it over, but it wasn't firing. So for some reason it wasn't firing. So he tried ether. That wasn't doing anything. And I didn't spray much in there because I didn't want this thing to get addicted to it. That's the problem. If you use too much ether, I've heard that engines can actually get addicted to it, and then that's all they want even in the summertime when it's 90 degrees out, they want ether to start. So that was about the 1586 for yesterday too. When I started it, is I only gave it a tiny bit of ether and it fired on it. Of course, you guys will see that video long before this, but it took very little ether to get the thing to fire. So, because I'm trying to avoid using ether as much as possible, because I know it can damage the engine if you use too much of it, and then your engine can get addicted to it, you know, later on. And that probably sounds weird to a lot of people, but that is true. I've heard of that engines can get addicted to it, to where even when it's 70 degrees out and nice and sunny and hot, they want ether to start. So, you know, that's what I hear anyway, and I think it's kind of true. So I try to avoid using ether as much as possible. I want to give them the bare minimum amount to get them firing. Even if they don't fire on the first crank, you know, even with a shot of ether, it's the fact that it does give the engine a boost, and then it kind of almost like preheats it, kind of gets it hotter, so then it should crank again. But on this car, it wasn't happening. We used ether, and well, the block heater don't work. I thought it did, but come to find out, it blew out years ago, so it never worked. So yeah, so I told my uncle we probably should send it in and get a new block heater put in. Of course, now it's too late, but and then I think tomorrow's Saturday, so they only work half a day. The guys that can do it, they only work half a day, so I don't know if they would get it done. So you probably could wait till Monday, I guess, and then do it. But yeah, so what we ended up doing, and I don't know if it helped or not, I'm thinking that it did, but we put the heat gun on it. We took the air intake tube off the filter. We stuck the heat gun in there. I don't know, for some reason my heat gun wasn't working very well. I don't know why, so I think I might have to buy a new one. I don't know. The last job I used it on was shrink wrap for some wiring. I don't know if that damaged it or what, but it just seemed like it wasn't at full speed like it should have been, even on high. So I put it in the air intake. We put it on high, even though it wasn't on very high. And we just waited for about 10 minutes, maybe. And then we went to crank it, and it really truly tried to fire. It popped and banged a little bit, but the first crank it didn't start. It wanted to, because like I said, it popped and banged and acted like it was going to fire, but then it never did. So we did it again, and it fired up and it ran like crap. And then I think it shut off again, and then we just, we cranked it up, and then it came to life, and then it was running. So here's a trick. I know that some guys, I know Farming 4G does it, and then I don't know if Roosty 6 does it. I thought he said that he did, but a lot of people, when they don't have block heaters in their engines, you can get away with using like a big propane heater. You just point it at the engine block and it'll heat the engine block up. That works, but you can also just try using, if you have a heat gun, just stick it in the air intake for 10-15 minutes and make sure that the heat's actually going down in and not just coming back up. Let it sit there for 10-15 minutes and then crank it. And then even while cranking it, keep the heat gun in there too, because it'll suck that hot air in. So, because that's what it needs to crank. It needs hot air to crank. It doesn't really crank all that well in cold air. Supposedly, though, cold air is good because it helps, for one, keep the engine cooler, and then something to do with it running. It helps it actually runs better, I guess, when it's cold. I don't really know, but all I know is if you need to crank your engine up and it's cold, if you have at least a heat gun, put the bitch on high, stick it in the air intake for however long you think you want. We did it for about 10 minutes, and made a difference. So we did that last year on the 1586 there when we were having issues trying to get it to crank. Of course, we only tried to heat the diesel fuel, but it helped. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. Just want to let you guys know what was going on there. So, interesting day. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to take off. So, I guess have a good day and stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.